Hello friends, we are discussing a topic simple linear regression model up till now. We have 4 or 5 lectures or video lectures and 6 or 7 Google Meets on this particular topic. Okay. Now in this introduction to regression analysis, friends, today we will discuss now one of the important topic, which is actually the summary of the things which we have done for chapter number 2, that is how to deal with a bivariate data, how to find out the equation of line of regression of y on x. Y is your dependent variable which depends on x. Okay, so the data is like this. The data on age x and blood pressure BP y of 20 patients is given below. Okay, fit linear regression equation, compute standard error of regression coefficient beta naught and beta 1, construct 95% confidence interval for the regression coefficients, also test significance of regression coefficient beta 1 and write ANOVA table, find coefficient of determination and interpret the result. Okay, so basically the data with you is age x and BPY of 20 patients. So this is my basic data which is known to me. Okay, now I am using MS Excel to compute all these sum and sum of squares. So I just in MS Excel I just put x into y here, so that will be my product of two variables, and here x square. We don't need y square, so I have not computed it here, but I need x into y and x square. Okay, similarly I need summation of xi and summation of yi, summation of x into y, summation of x square. And now for the given data, bivariate data, if I try to draw a simple scatter diagram by inserting functions xy scatter plot, I get graph like this. So from this graph, what can you say? The path of the point is from lower right to upper left. So as x increases, on an average the blood pressure of the patient also increases. So the graph shows positive correlation between two variables. Okay, and we can see that they are highly correlated. So from the graph you can think of a linear regression model to this given data set. Okay, now I am going to use this sum and sum of squares, sum of products to find out x mean, that is x bar. Okay, so what is my x bar? My x bar is summation of xi upon n, where n is 20. Similarly y bar is summation of yi upon n. If I compute sxx, so this is summation of xi minus x bar square. For simplicity I just take square of this quantity, and by collecting the similar terms, the same expression will be summation of xi square minus n times x bar square. So this particular formula is easy for computation of sxx. Instead of computing xi minus x bar, then take square, and then take addition of these things. So instead of that, I have taken summation of xi square minus n times x bar square. That value comes out to be 5911.75. Similarly, in order to compute sxy, the formula for sxy is summation of xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. So if you simplify this, I will get the final result as summation of xi yi minus n times x bar into y bar, and then this particular formula I am going to use for computation of sxy, and using summation of xi yi from this particular table. So this is my summation of xi yi. Okay, and this is my x bar and y bar. So using x bar, y bar, n is equal to 20, I can compute sxy. Okay, now in order to estimate the regression coefficients beta naught and beta 1, I know that beta 1 hat is equal to sxy upon sxx, and that value comes out to be 0.4493. Similarly, my beta naught cap, which depends on beta 1 cap and y bar, so it is beta naught cap is equal to y bar minus beta 1 cap into x bar, and that value I got it from this particular expression, which comes out to be 112.5145. So my regression equation from the sample quantity, that is using sample estimates of beta naught and beta 1, my regression equation is y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 cap into x. Okay, by putting these values of beta naught and beta 1 here, this is my equation, which is linear one, where y is bp and x is h. Okay, so using this equation 1, what is my next step? Using this equation 1, I am trying to find out estimates of yi cap using the value of xi. Okay, so my next column is computation of yi estimate. Okay, yi estimate is equal to 112.5145 plus 0.4493 xi. Put x1 is equal to 20 in this particular expression, I will get y1 cap. Put x1 is equal to 32, 38, I will get this particular value. Put x3 is equal to 34, I will get this value. So I will get y1, y1 cap, y2 cap, y3 cap by putting x1, x2, x3 in this expression. So I will get 20 estimated values. Okay, so if you look at summation of yi cap, so summation of yi cap is equal to summation of yi. Since there is a certain difference between these two values, because I have restricted myself to 4 decimal places only, so there are many more things after this particular 4 decimals. I am not considering that. The value comes out to be 26929 instead of 2630. But when we prove it theoretically, summation of yi should be equal to summation of yi cap. Remember this. Okay, this thing should be equal theoretically, and we have proved it. The difference is because I am rounding my figures up to 4 decimals only. Okay, then my next step is compute residual EI. What is residual EI? Residual EI is yi minus yi estimate. So actual value of yi minus estimated value of yi gives me this particular value. Okay, yi minus yi cap. Can you see here we have 121 point something. So this value is negative. Now if you take these estimates or these errors for I is equal to 1 to 20, I will get 20 residual values based on 20 xi values. Okay, so if I try to add this is again equal to 0. If you look at the things which we have discussed in the theory, summation of EI also equal to 0 because of this thing. Because of this, if you see, if you add this plus this, you will get 2630. Okay, so this residue should be equal to 0 theoretically, but since we are rounding of figures up to 4 decimals, this becomes some negligible value. Okay, further I am computing EI square. We know that summation of EI square gives us the value of residual sum of squares. So when I compute summation of EI square, the value becomes summation of EI square is 43.277. Okay, so with this if you look at here, using equation 1, this equation, okay, this is my equation, y is equal to 112.5145 plus 0.4493x. By putting different values of x, I will get yi cap, and once I get yi cap for 20 values, I can compute summation of EI square, which we call it as residual sum of squares. And once I compute summation of EI square, we call it as residual sum of square is equal to summation of y minus y bracket square is equal to summation of EI square is 43.2769. Now using this residual sum of squares, I am going to estimate the population variance sigma square, which we call it as sigma square cap, which is residual sum of squares upon n minus 2. So this value becomes 2.4042, and if I take positive square root of this, this is my standard error or standard deviation. So sigma cap is equal to 1.5505. Using this, I am computing variance of or estimate of variance of beta 1 cap. By definition, it is sigma cap square upon SXX. Now sigma cap square is 2.4042 upon 5911. The value is 0.004066. Okay. Now using this, I am now computing beta 1 cap, that is positive square root, or see, this is your beta 1 cap, and standard error of beta 1 cap is positive square root of this value. This is equal to 0.0201. I require this in the next step, therefore I have written it here. Now in order to find out 95% confidence interval for beta 1, my formula is beta 1 cap plus or minus Tn minus 2 alpha by 2 into standard error of beta 1 cap, which is this one. Okay. Now beta 1 cap is 0.4493 and standard error of beta 1 cap is 0.0201. Now if you look at the t value for 18 degrees of freedom and at the right tail with probability 0.025, that is alpha is 5%, therefore alpha by 2 is 0.025. So that value from the table is 2.101. So putting this value in this expression, I will get 95% confidence interval for beta 1 is 0.4069 and 0.4915. So in the population, your beta naught is in this particular range with 95% confidence. Okay. So when you take 100 samples, if you compute 100 such intervals, then 95 times your population parameter must lie in this particular intervals. Okay. So this is called as 95% confidence interval for beta 1. Similarly, we will compute variance of beta naught cap, which is again sigma cap square into 1 upon n plus x bar square upon SXX. So this formula you have to remember as it is, and by putting the value of sigma cap square, we get variance of beta naught cap is 0.84603 and standard error is square root of this is 0.9198. Further, we can also compute confidence interval for beta naught, that is the value of population beta naught should lie in this particular interval for with confidence 0.95, okay, or 95% of the times. Okay. So again the value of t statistic remains same. It is T18 alpha by 2 is 2.101. Putting the value of Tn minus 2 alpha by 2, putting the value of standard error of beta naught, putting the value of beta naught, we have, this is the confidence interval for your beta naught in the population. Okay. Similarly, we can compute 95% confidence interval for your population variance sigma square. And what is that? It is n minus 2 into mean residual sum of square. It is simply residual sum of squares upon chi-square alpha by 2 n minus 2 degrees of freedom. Now, when you look at the chi-square distribution, it is right tail. So one has to consider two tails. One from one cutoff point is at alpha by 2 n minus 2 point, and another cutoff is chi-square 1 minus alpha by 2 n minus 2. Okay. So if I use the Excel function in MS Excel, we have the functions to find out inverse of this particular chi-square probability distribution. So I use this particular command chi-square inverse at the tail 0.025 with 18 degrees of freedom. The value is 31.52638 and the another tail is at 0.975 probability. P is this, and with degrees of freedom alpha, this is the value. So my 95% confidence interval for sigma square is n minus 2 into mean residual sum of square is simply residual sum of square, which is 43.2769. So 43.2769 divided by 31 point this value 31.5263, I will get lower limit, and that lower limit is equal to 1.3727. and if I put this limit, upper limit, by dividing 43.2769 by 8.230, I will get the upper limit. So 95% confidence interval for population variance sigma square is 1.37272 to 5.2579. So in this way one can obtain confidence intervals for population regression coefficients beta 1, beta naught, and population variance sigma square. Okay, so in this way you can see how your estimates are used to find out the interval for population parameters. Okay, similarly, how now evaluation of regression model means how your regression model is good. Who will decide that this particular regression model is good? So that can be used by testing of significance of beta 1, okay, and beta naught. So in order to test significance for beta 1, my null hypothesis is H naught beta 1 is equal to 0 versus H1 beta 1 is significant. Now this beta 1 C, that is the value which we are thinking for parameter in the population, that is equal to 0. So we first assume that in the population the regression coefficient is 0 versus the alternative that it is not equal to 0, that is not, it is significant. Okay, so in order to test this type of hypothesis, and since we have estimated sigma square from my sample quantities, I am going to use t-test here. So the t-statistic is beta 1 cap minus 0 upon mean sum of squares upon SXX. Okay, and this value we have computed earlier, and this particular value is 0.0201, that is variance of beta 1 cap. Okay, square root of variance of beta 1 cap or standard error of beta 1 cap, which is 0.0201, and the value is now 22.2822. Okay, so this value we have to compare with your t critical value, that is table value of t at 18 degrees of freedom and at the right tail 0.025. This is the table value, which is 2.101. Now can you see that calculated value of t is much greater than your table value, critical value. So we reject the null hypothesis H naught, that beta 1 is equal to 0. So beta 1 is definitely not equal to 0, and therefore we are accepting H1, that beta 1 is not equal to 0. Therefore your regressor, your independent variable x, on which your dependent variable relies, that is BP of the patient, definitely depends on age. So the regressor age is significant while estimating the BP of the patient, and therefore it is not equal to 0, is accepted. Similarly, we can test the another method of testing of your significance of your regression coefficient is using ANOVA table. Okay, so in ANOVA table, analysis of variance table, what is my null hypothesis? My null hypothesis is that beta 1 is not significant, that is beta 1 is 0 versus H1 beta 1 is not equal to 0. Okay, so beta 1 has some positive value, that positive or negative value, but it is not equal to 0. Okay, so here we have only one source of variation, that is our regression. Okay, so regression is one source of variation, and we have total variation, total sum of squares, this is SSR. Okay, so source of variation is this, and error is our component, which is obtained by using residual sum of squares. Okay, so as earlier we have discussed, there is 1 degree of freedom because in order to estimate regressor we are using this particular thing, SSR is equal to beta 1 cap into SXY. So we are using 1 parameter in order to find the regression. So here 1 degree of freedom is there. The sum of squares SSR, that is sum of squares due to regression, is obtained by beta 1 hat into Sxy. That value is here, okay, and the error sum of squares, residual sum of square is 43.2770, and we know that it has n-2 degrees of freedom, because while estimating the error sum of squares we are using the linear regression y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 cap into x. That means two parameters or two regression coefficients beta naught cap and beta 1 cap are estimated using the same sample quantities, and therefore 2 degrees of freedom are reduced here. Therefore here we have n-2, and this is total sum of squares. So total sum of square, if you add these two, 1 plus n-2, that gives rise to n-1. So total sum of squares have n-1 degrees of freedom, okay. So this you can compute either adding these two or by taking summation of yi minus y bar bracket square. So if you compute it by using that particular thing, that is summation of y square minus n times y bar square, you will get this total sum of squares, okay. So how you compute mean sum of squares? We will compute mean sum of squares by dividing sum of squares due to regression divided by number of degrees of freedom, okay. Similarly, therefore 1193 upon 723 upon 1 is this, and mean sum of squares for error is 43.2770 upon degrees of freedom, that is 18, okay. So we need not have to compute this particular thing, and now we are going to compare the F ratio, that is ratio of two variances, okay. So it is mean sum of squares for regression upon mean sum of square for residual, okay. If I take ratio of these two, that is that follows F distribution with 1 and n-2 degrees of freedom, okay. So SST is that is total sum of squares is equal to sum of squares due to regression plus residual sum of squares, okay. Also we know the another definition for SSR is beta 1 cap into Sxy, okay. So we know that the F ratio is ratio of 2 chi-square variates divided by their respective degrees of freedom. So it is 1193.723 upon 1 divided by 43.2770 upon 18. So this F ratio is this, and if I have a table value of C F statistic at 1 and 18 degrees of freedom, F value of F distribution with 1 and 18 degrees of freedom, the value is 4.43 at 5% level of significance, then definitely F ratio is greater than, my F ratio is greater than 4.41. So with this we conclude that you have to reject your null hypothesis H0. That is, you have to accept the alternative hypothesis that beta 1 is not equal to 0. So in this case, we can say that beta 1 is significant. And what is your beta 1? Beta 1 is regression coefficient of y on x, okay. That is, the regressor independent variable age is very important while estimating the value of BP of the patient, that is y, okay. So the regressor age is significant in this case, okay. So in this way we can have either this in order to evaluate your regression model, or in order to check the validity of your regression estimates. You can use either test for beta 1 using this method, using T statistic, or using analysis of variance in this way, okay. So analysis of variance is very important technique while comparing means of several distributions also, several samples also in the population, okay. Similarly, one test we are going to discuss is to find coefficient of determination. So coefficient of determination we denote it by r square. And what is it? It is sum of squares due to regression upon sum of squares due to total. Okay, so if sum of squares due to total, that is total variation in y, is SST, and total variation due to regression estimates is SSR. So if I take this ratio SSR upon SST, the value comes out to be 0.9650. That means it is close to 1. That means 96% of your variation in y is explained by your regression model, that is linear regression model. That means age is a very important factor while determining BP of the patient, and 96.50% of the information, that is variation is in y, is due to your another variable, which is independent variable, age. Okay, so 96.5% of the variation is explained by your age variable. Okay, so in this case we will say it like this, that is age is a very important factor while determining BP of the patient. Okay, so in this way we can have analysis of variance or computation of coefficient of determination or testing beta 1 significance of beta 1 using t-test for evaluation of regression model. So these are the three ways to discuss about the validity of your model. Okay, similarly on the similar lines, see I have discussed one problem for you, and these are the values for sum of squares, y estimates, error component, and error sum of squares. Okay, I have given two more examples for practice. Okay, so this is the second example. The second example is this: realtors are often interested in seeing how the appraisal value of home Y varies according to the size of the home. Definitely we know that as the size of the home increases, its appraisal value will also increase. But to what extent, that is the problem. So the data on area, so the area is given thousands of square feet and appraisal value in lakhs of rupees for sample of homes is as given below. Okay, so here x value is given, value of y is given. Fit a linear regression equation. Also same things we are repeating here. Compute standard errors of your regression estimates beta naught and beta 1. Cap, construct 95% confidence interval and also test significance of your regression. Write the ANOVA table for it. Compute coefficient of determination and interpret the results. Okay, for your easy reference, by using Excel, I have given you sum of x, sum of y, sum of product of x, y, sum of squares of x. Then I have also estimated the regression equation as yi is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 into x. And then I have computed EI, that is yi minus yi estimate, and EI square. So if you are interested in doing the same things, you can do of your own just for practice. So here the scatter diagram also shows here positive, you can say positive correlation between two variables x and y. X and y seems to be positively correlated, and the means and sum of squares and sum of products is given here, and the rest of the things. So whatever I have done here in 3 pages, you have to do of your own just to have a practice, and kindly send me the answers of these 2 questions in your Google class as an assignment. Okay, so you have to do the same things just for practice. Again, I have given one more example. The example is like this. A researcher wants to know how blood glucose level of a person is related to weight of a person. So someone think that there is a relationship between blood glucose level of a person and weight of a person. So when he trying to analyze the two things, we can use this particular data in order to see whether there is any relationship. Now here you can see the data is not exactly whatever we have seen in two first examples. So here now you can, if you try to find out the value of r square, coefficient of determination, you look at that value and tell me the conclusion. Similarly, you try for test the significance of beta 1. Also, you try to find out the things which we find it in ANOVA table, so that you can compare the three data sets to interpret the results in a proper manner. Okay, so I will give these particular things in Google class, and we will discuss the things in Google Meet afterwards. Okay, now our next video lecture will be on multiple regression, fitting of multiple regression. Okay, so whatever we have studied at SYBAC level, that is when we have more than one independent variables, say x1, x2, x3. In SYBAC we have discussed a trivariate data. So if my variable of interest y is dependent variable which depends on two independent variables, namely x1 and x2, we have obtained the regression equation of y on x1 and x2. In that case, the names for our regression coefficients are beta 12.3 and beta 13.2. The same things now we are doing for our multiple regression. Now we will discuss p number of independent variables on which our dependent variable y depends. So we will, that particular analysis is called as multiple regression analysis. On the similar lines, now we will discuss it for multiple regression in terms of matrices. Okay, so in the in Google class, I have shared certain notes to you, that is prerequisites of matrices or some corollaries which we are going to use, or some results, important results from matrices we are going to use for this particular topic, that is analysis of multiple regression. Okay, so you just go through those things. That is a simple algebra on matrices, that is addition of matrix, then how matrices operates, how to find the inverse of the matrices. That things I have given in corollaries. You just go through those results and try to understand the things, or try to recall the things, because these things we have done in 11th and 12th standard. So I request you to go through those notes and some results, so that we can easily proceed further for multivariate analysis. That means when we have more than one independent variable, how to fit regression models to those data sets. Okay, and how to find, how to validate our regression coefficients in that case. Okay, thank you once again.